Hold, please. BRB.
I thought you were gonna say someone said they heard Jinx meowing.
That explains why neither of you answered me when I said, what should we name this episode? And I just said, Scrolls and Moths, done.
Sure.
Mothy Scrolls Online. Okay, I'm done.
Do mothballs work for Elder Scrolls, or are you still, like, stuck with moths?
Whoa. That is, all of a sudden, just covered in light here.
Timing. Yeah, I've noticed that Hourglass of Akatosh doesn't really work on that thing, so I just stopped including it in builds. It does what it wants.
You're over there all looking like an outcast, Gwen.
No, I am chilling with my skull friend and drinking wine. We're doing great. That's what's in my Undaunted mug.
Undaunted?
Undaunted?
We
are undaunted, and we will be very daunted later when we say that for a second time, and we're going to totally be thrown for a loop. Yep.
Let's see. I gotta make sure that we are live on the YouTubes.
Yes.
By the way, you want moths with your scrolls because of the Fiorans.
Okay, please tell me this lore.
So,
what is a Fioran?
It is what is basically, I don't know if you could say it's in the moths, but it's like what the moths represent, which is ancestors. And so the ancestor silk that comes from the moths, which are attracted to a particular type of flower, which I can't remember what it is right now, they take the ancestor silk from those moths and weave it into their actual robes as moth priests, because then it's like the history of their ancestors is with them.
Do you know how silk is made?
Isn't it spun from butts?
From worms.
It's from worms.
The worms are boiled.
Yeah.
And the silk is extracted. Mm-hmm. So they're killing their ancestors to take...
No, I don't think so. I think the moths... I don't... There's not really any lore on how the moths and the plants work together, I don't think.
Okay.
Right? So it's just that the moths, like the moth priests keep the moths basically as pets or as whatever. And I think they're attracted to ancestor silk.
Okay, so the ancestor silk plant.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold, please.
Because normal silk is made in a very not vegan way.
Yeah.
There is murder. There is a lot of murder involved. That's why silk's so expensive.
1 second.
Many bugs are killed in the making of silk. Now you know.
Okay, here we go. Members of the Order of the Ancestor Moth honor and celebrate their ancestors, whose spirits are embodied in the ancestor moths and possess the knowledge to weave this essence into their creations. Fiorans can be sung into the silk produced. So basically, a Fioran is, think of like it's called the will to peace. So it's like the echo of a mortal's soul, basically. Think like dragon shouting, but ancestor moth. Right? It can be sung. It's a language that can be sung and produced with the ancestor moths. Then the silk is spun into cloth and embroidered with the genealogy of the appropriate ancestor, and it makes the garments powerful.
Okay.
So it says...
But where in there does it mention they use the... I'm sorry, continue.
No. The singing and hymnal spirits of one's forebears are caught in the special silk gathering ritual. The swishing of the silk material during movement represents the ancestral chorus contained in the silk. It became a custom among the Nibonese, which persists to this day, and is highly prized throughout the empire and exported alongside other valuable goods. The higher order monks of the cult are able to forego the ritual needed to enchant the silk and instead merely wear the moths themselves. They are able to attract the ancestor moths through the application of ground bark from the moth's favorite tree and through chanting inaudible mantras, which they must constantly maintain to keep the moths in contact with them.
So I know ancestor silk is one of our crafting materials, but that is not actually mentioned anywhere in there.
It's hold on.
It's heavily implied.
If you go to Furin, which is the will to peace, right? That's the echo of the mortal soul. In that particular one, it says, essence can be sung into the silk produced by the ancestor's moth when it's spun into cloth, blah, 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 blah. The tradition of weaving ancestor silk originated with early Syro-Nordic tribes of Nibene. Today, their descendants, the modern-day Nibonese, continue this practice, creating vestments and other garments. The swishing of this material is said to produce a resplendent chorus, just like the other garments, which has inspired this ancient custom. It's highly prized throughout the empire and exported alongside other valuable goods. Some people will pay weavers to craft shawls inscribed with their family trees, believing that the garments hold memories of their ancestors. Monks of the higher orders in the cult of the ancestor moth can bypass the magical rituals typically required to enchant this fabric and often choose to wear the moths around their necks and faces instead. Sometimes the swarms are affectionately given the pet name Furin in reference to the essence that they are believed to carry.
Alright, so unlike IRL silk, Elder Scrolls silk is indeed very much so vegan.
Seems
or
like
vegetarian at least.
Maybe? Yeah, there's not really like a full explanation of the connection of the actual ancestor silk plant.
Well,
right?
You just said that the ancestor silk plant was used, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what's implied there,
Yeah.
but hold on. I'm looking for it actually. Why is it not showing me?
I feel like this is one of those we don't really need to know the specific.
No, you just kind of, it's inferred that, yeah.
Because it
Like,
could be another
the
one of
moths-
those instances of lore where the person writing it didn't necessarily maybe know how silk was made, like that last time that we figured out that, like, maybe the person who wrote this just doesn't know how this actually works in the real world, and it's fantasy anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, that could be. That could be. And I mean, they specifically mention the bark, right? Not like the actual silk plant itself, so who knows? But
So they
there you go.
So they sew it into their garments.
Yeah, they weave it in.
Right. So do these moth priests, like, are they good with directions?
Where's this bad joke going?
Well, I mean, where you go depends on where your garment takes you, right?
Wow. Wow. That was a terrible joke. Actually horrible.
Well, I'm gonna go cry now.
It's okay. Still love you.
I'm not gonna go cry.
I just got it. That's how bad that joke was. I just got it.
Amazing. Okay. I'm
You're
about
welcome.
to send our tweet.
Alright, let's start.
Okay.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to A Snugpod Cast. I am basking in the light of, what is this thing, Gwen?
A window?
Yeah, what window is it, though?
You can look on inspection mode.
I'm in screenshot mode. I can't look at anything.
Stained glass of lunar phases.
There you go. Yeah, so if you're wondering what the pretty light all around me is, that's what that is. I'm never separate. And that lovely voice you just heard there was Gwen the Bard. How are you?
Good. Good. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. I just had my share of Girl Scout cookies, and I've got some Kit Kat creamer in my coffee over here. So lots of sugar and caffeine and ready to go.
Very much so Khajiit of you. So much sugar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is nighttime outside, so, the moon is out. I have moon sugar. So, yeah. Gone crazy back soon. What's up?
Nothing much. I'm here. Hooray.
You were here. That makes 3 of us. And
That's right.
nobody left after what was apparently the best joke y'all have ever heard.
Don't repeat it, please.
Yeah, if you're listening to this in audio form, just go back to the uncut video and listen to the joke and laugh for yourself. Anyway, what have y'all been up to? Crazy? What have you been doing? Anything in game?
Well, I'm currently making our Canva to tell you that the show is live. But other than that...
That's not in-game, technically.
That's not in-game. No, it's not. I did some Sundesk PvP today on PC, because there's a PvP event that runs every Sunday currently. We rotate leads over there, so I went over and supported on that side. I have been doing some more questing in Westweald. I'm about 60% done now with the main quest, finally. So I just surpassed basically like the halfway mark.
Nice.
And am enjoying that quest. And then, other than that, I've been editing. Wow. Other than that, I have been editing a Lore Seekers off-air episode, which is hopefully going to release ASAP. And lots of Inventory Manager online on PlayStation. So, yeah, my inventory on PlayStation is just on fire. I got a whole bunch of things back that I had tried to sell, and now I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, that's about it.
That is totally relatable. Gwen, what about you?
Let's see. Well, we changed around the Snugpod again. I'm just going to try to see how many weird ways I can rearrange the Snugpod before I give up during my no gold spending year. Which, by the way, I did spend gold. It was not on furnishings, though. It was for those books for scribing, because I wanted to use one of the scribing moves, and those books are 50k a piece.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was an unfortunate necessity. I mean, I guess I could have done without it, but yeah, it happened. So anyway, I got this lovely antiquity we're sitting in. It's called the Font of Ariel, and it does technically not fit in the Snugpod. It is upside down, because otherwise it would not let me place it in the Snugpod, because the base is too big. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It will be changing after this week, but I wanted to just try it, see if I could fit this thing in the Snugpod, and we did. However, we are missing so many of the regular stations and stuff that I would have in the Snugpod that it's not going to stick around. This is going to be another 1 week and done build.
Where
besides,
did you say you got this thing?
It was an antiquity. You get it in Western Skyrim.
Okay.
I don't remember where I got the lead drop from, but you find it, you like dig it up in Western Skyrim.
Okay.
But I think next Snugpod go around, we're just gonna see how many like non-purchasable items I can use to decorate the Snugpod. Besides all that, I think I have, I wrote in the show notes totally the worst word for this, but I have the most rage for Stuga than anyone else ever at this point. Like, there's people have hatred for Stuga. People love Stuga. People have hatred for Stuga. I'm pretty sure I have more hatred for Stuga than anyone else at this point. Truly I do. That is the update for Stuga. I hate her. Because I said I would never do embroidery in my life, and looking back at putting all of this stuff, all these panels and things on this shirt for her, it's basically embroidery. It is basically embroidery at this point, and I hate embroidery. um, so that's the update for Stuga. She is wearable. The shirt and pants are totally wearable. I could walk around. They're loungeable. It's just finishing up the embroidery on the shirt and measuring things, because yeah, it's March. It's almost been a year since I bought this fabric. And I got it at Fabric Warehouse, so the odds of me ever finding the same fabric are basically zero. So we are being very careful with our cuts. And otherwise, in game, I've mostly been playing on PCEU this week, and oh my god, the new player experience these days sucks. That is my update. When I started again on PCNA, I got lucky. I won a 1,000,000 gold lottery from someone, and that made inventory and everything so much easier and wonderful, and I didn't have any problems. And that is not the case on PCEU, and I am struggle bugging it. I'm struggle bugging it. Yep. But that's pretty much it, I think.
You're in Lore Seekers over there, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking. Sorry. Sorry. I was thinking like bank space and things like that. Like maybe someone could help out with some, spotting you some gold or things. I don't know. That's where my brain was. Sorry. I didn't complete the thought. Apologies.
All right. Well, I've been away on business. Not me, but me. That makes sense. So I don't have anything to add to this segment of the show this week. So if y'all are ready, we can jump into the news that we've doubled up on this week, kinda. We good?
Should you tell everybody why we doubled up on everything?
Sure. So there was a question asked if anyone had started show notes, and we were all like, nope, not yet. And so I was like, I'll throw some things in there. So I hopped over onto the ESO news page and grabbed the articles and such that were dated past the last show. And then Gwen pops in and said, show notes are done. And I was like, do you mean you saw that I had them done? Or you also did them? Yeah, it was the second. We both did the same basic show notes pretty much. So
at least we were all on the same page.
Yeah. So we're going with Gwen's because her layout is a little more consistent. But yeah, I guess if we are good, then we can hop in. It's not a whole lot. I even tried looking to see if there was anything interesting in the forums, but I didn't spend a lot of time on that. I was curious if there was any. The one thing I saw was the pain points and whatever thing, but that actually was dated back in January, so that's not new. I think we actually talked a little bit about their response to that recently, right? Wasn't that something? Was that last week?
I don't believe so. No, last week was the Cyrodiil PvP Part 2. We put it in there, but we didn't talk it.
No, you shared something in the in our chat about
in our
that.
Discord. Yeah. Because that was it was presented to us as like this is going to go in the forums.
Yeah.
Situation. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was thinking maybe that's why that sounded familiar. Anyway. Okay. Yeah. So apparently, I guess, I don't know that we ever really talked too much about it, but there was a thing on a post on the forums from all the way back in January that they asked for feedback on pain points and bugs, like the top 5 of each, that they wanted feedback on so they could try to prioritize addressing those things. But because that was so old, I didn't pull that into the notes. But anyway, it's there if anybody wants to go and read what's happening on that forum. So, I guess we just can start from the top. It's not a big thing there, but some more 10-year anniversary stuff being put out. You see that?
Yeah, I watched the stream on it too. There was a stream.
There was where you got to talk, like, listen to the artist talk about it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. This one had me a little bit laughing because some people were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they used AI for this," and I was like, "What?" I went, but the artist was on talking. It's like, I didn't even respond to those people. But
guys,
yeah, they were
AI uses like real people art for a thing. So yes, it's gonna look like real people art, but this is real people art.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that was my response too. That's why I said I didn't even respond. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Moving on.
Anyway,
apparently Stuga. If you watch the stream, you learn Stuga is chasing Bastion with cheese.
Mm-hmm.
That was enough for me to consider not cosplaying Stuga because I love Bastion more, but I put too much effort into this to stop.
Oh no. So this was a really fun stream. They did. Well, let's just read the little thing here and then let's chat about it real quick. So it says, check out and download this new 10-year anniversary celebration wallpaper and learn how it was made in a special live stream. Take a trip back through the past 10 years of ESO with this intricately detailed wallpaper produced by our very own senior concept artist, Lucas Leminski. The new piece features a host of some of ESO's most memorable characters and is brimming with fun details taken from the game's 10-year history for you to discover. Want to use this illustration as your desktop or mobile background? Scroll down and select from the links below to download the wallpaper in your desired size. And then it's got all of the ones there.
So what part of all of this does everyone have as their cell phone background right now?
None, because my kid is my cell phone background, but it is my screen that's currently above the one that I'm looking at right now with you. So I do have it as a background on my laptop. It says, as you may know, Lucas is responsible for many works for the Elder Scrolls Online throughout the years. To learn more about Lucas and his process, tune in to the Twitch stream at as ESO team community members Gina Bruno and Kevin Boley sit down to chat with senior concept artists about his latest illustrated masterpiece. This was a fun stream because not only did he tell you about the process, he showed different steps in the process as he was drawing everything and how he 3D rendered the background and like all of that stuff. But what I find so interesting is that this picture was originally only supposed to have like 20 people in it or like 15, and they thought that was going to be a stretch, and they ended up with what he said, over 70.
And like any proper artist, he complained about the entire process.
Yes, yeah.
This is a massive piece. This is massive. Even if you're doing it digitally, this is massive.
Yeah. So, the very cool thing about this artwork piece is the more you look at it, the more you can see the relationships between the characters that are in it. And he did lore research and interconnected everyone. He showed like a little clip that he had done in the stream of all the different characters and how they sort of spiderweb together and who was in each other's stories and which ones he felt needed to have certain interactions and which ones were in certain places on the actual artwork for certain reasons. So just a lot of lore and really cool stuff in this particular like painting. I love it. I love it.
Where's Narcistra? Is Narcistra in this?
I believe so. Hold please. I actually have a labeled version saved. One moment and I will tell you.
There's a labeled version.
There is. So someone did go through and labeled this as well. I'm just trying to remember where I saved that key art. Hold please. Maybe it's under downloads. But I did save it with it completed. I actually know where I can nab it. I'm pretty sure that I... Maybe not. I have it. Anyway, I will tell you where Narcissus Dren is in a little bit.
That's fine.
Because I'm pretty sure that they are in here. I just have to find where I saved that. What is your favorite part? What's your favorite part of the picture?
What's your favorite part of the picture?
Mine?
Yeah.
I love Raz and Naryu, of course, front and center. Love it. But I also love Evely and Bazrog in the back. I think that's great. She's just having a great old time. He looks like he's about to throw her into the ceiling. I also like... let me look around here. I love that Abner is so annoyed.
He's not annoyed. He's tricky. Yeah, no, he was clearly dragged there by like Lyris.
He was drugged there by Lyris and Sai.
Yeah.
You can tell. He's like,
I'm sitting next to a
wheel
on the stage.
I'm sitting next to a dirty cat. I'm sitting next to a dirty cat that everybody likes. I've got my little dram of whiskey here. There's a drunk cat in front of me.
A drunk cat's pretty
and then
great.
These two are just making eyes at each other.
Who is that? That's Sasahan, right?
Yeah, it's Sai and Lyris.
Is that Lyris? I wasn't sure because I'm only
It
ever
is.
really see her in the in her armor, so I was wondering if he was, trying to catch a moment she wasn't watching or something.
Yeah, I also really enjoy Ember in the back left corner lifting up the monkey over Casca. I think that's great.
That was what I was going to point out.
I thought she was killing the monkey, and I was going to be very proud of her, but it makes more sense that working together.
The monkey looks like it's going to drop something on Casca's head, but I don't exactly know what.
I think the monkey's actually stealing Casca's coin purse.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah. Ember being a little sneak thief, that makes so much more sense.
Oh no! I got logged out!
Ruh-roh.
You're so focused on the picture.
I was too busy looking at the picture.
But no, my favorite part about this is the fact that Abner now has a armor cannon outfit. I know how, silly that is, but that is my favorite part about this, because this is he now has a non-armor cannon outfit, because armor sucks.
Yep. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna post this 10-year thing in our chat, because I do have it. I found where it's at. It is right here.
That's so I don't know if the monkey had a choice in that scenario there, but it's a brave monkey if it did.
Mm-hmm. Costa would eat that monkey.
Well, I just think it's funny because I have seen videos of monkeys swinging down and smacking lions on the head or cheetahs or whatever, and it's so messed up because if they had the chance, clearly the monkey would be eaten, but they're just totally trolling those giant cats, and it's just funny.
Yeah. I also really like Maik. I love that Maik is featured in here, and that he's across from Bragas.
And they're playing Tales of Tribute.
They're playing Tales of Tribute together. Yeah, I think that's so fun.
And then Elam's in there. And Rigert is just being Rigert, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Gwendis over in the background.
The two, Florentia Candidus and Jiraz in the back, I love that they're standing by a poster that says dragons in your homeland, because those are the two that have that discussion.
Oh my god. Someone did their research on this one for sure then.
It's so great.
That is such an Easter egg.
Yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs in here. So if you get the 4K resolution version and you start to zoom around and zoom in and out on stuff, you can find a lot of things that are very well thought out and very lore centric, I guess you could say. So it was a great, really like a ton of work done by him, and just a great illustration. I think it was in process, they said, for what, like almost 2 years. Is that right? I didn't get to hear all of the stream. I was kind of in and out.
I only caught like 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I was in and out because I was at work, but I was trying to listen as best I could. I want to go back and actually watch it because there was a lot of cool art too. He did show some graphics and concept art pieces of when they originally thought that it might be in the location of like an Iliad ruin or a couple other locations. And then ultimately they ended up on this sort of, like a longhouse or like a tavern style portrait and backdrop. So I think it was great.
I could talk about this picture for hours, just because there's so many little itty bitty lore things in here, so we can totally move on.
So many.
All right, well, we've got another preview. Wait, why does that say and? I don't remember it being and. Am I remembering wrong? Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
No, it's just, you're not. There was a Lepsiclusa one, sorry. There you go.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
Changed it.
Alrighty.
Anyway, the Falling Banners preview for the exiled, when you've had doubt before and you do it again, redoubt, no, nobody. I'm sorry. I'm off my game tonight.
Oh, I'm in the curtains. Don't mind us, everyone. Sorry. Logged out and then accidentally pulled through the curtains.
Rookie
mistake. This is obviously my first podcast and first show, so sorry.
Yeah. Everybody,
so sorry.
Yeah, we decided at episode 122 we'd bring a new person in. So, do you want me to read this? Or would one of you like to read this?
You already started.
Did I?
Go for it.
Fallen Banners Preview Exiled Redoubt. So, update 45. Stop a threat to the 3 alliances in Exile's Redoubt. Coming soon with the Fallen Banners Dungeon Pack. The Fallen Banners Dungeon Pack brings 2 new dungeons to Tamriel with its arrival on March 10th for PC, Mac, and March 26th for Xbox and PlayStation consoles. You've already had a chance to survey Orpheon and Tactician's campaign, to seize Lepsiclusa, and now prepare for a murkier conflict as you dive into Fallen Banner's second dungeon, Exiled Redoubt. Casualties of war. The Albus family was a prominent imperial noble house, but over the centuries, their once great family fell to the ranks of minor nobility. Shares writer-designer Helena Watchhouse? Not sure on the name there. This underground redoubt is the Albus' last fortress. It's the stronghold protecting their secrets and the hidden vault where the head of the house, Cato Albus, schemes in the dark. What is Cato's scheme exactly? You'll have to find out in the Exiled Redoubt dungeon. However, you'll be helped by a returning character, last seen investigating the Dread Cellar dungeon. She's now hard at work unraveling another mystery, an outbreak of missing Alliance soldiers. Soldiers from every Alliance army are going missing in Cyrodiil, and their trail led Lucilla Caprinia right to the gates of the Exiled Redoubt, says Watchhouse. Lucilia is a familiar face, but if you don't know her, she's trained as an Imperial battle mage. She can hold her own. An ironclad defense. Your time in Exiled Redoubt will not be easy, with fearsome foes garrisoned and waiting for you. The Albus stronghold is filled with soldiers that sided with Cato and want to help him surgically gut each of the Alliance armies, warns Dungeon Team product owner and senior content designer Shane Slama. These highly skilled individuals are capable of executing pinpoint raids on unsuspecting troops in Cyrodiil by using tracking hounds and atronachs. This includes iron atronach spiders, which are great for squeezing through tiny spaces and blowing up anything they come in contact with. While these spiders sound like trouble, They can get even more dangerous when directed by Prime Sorcerer Vandoralen, one of the dungeon's bosses, and somebody familiar with Lucilla from their time at the Battle Spire. Prime Sorcerer Vandoralen is a master at commanding the Iron Atronach spiders, and he doesn't hesitate to unleash a small army of them on you, says Slama. He also has a flair for the dramatic by charging around on his flaming steed. It's a tough boss battle, but Lucilla's there to help and provide you with a knowledge of how Vandaloran fights. Stick with her, and you'll be one step closer to confronting Kato. Redoubtable rewards. Storming the exiled redoubt and putting a stop to the Albus family is a formidable task, and it comes with impressive rewards to match, including new item sets, collectibles, achievements, and more. You can show off your prowess in dungeon delving for all to see with the exiled goldenrod die obtained through the Fallen Banner's scout for completing both Fallen Banner's dungeons. The rewards also include a new monster mask and 3 unique item sets, 1 light, medium, and heavy, that offer powerful new effects. The monster mask is themed after the Squall of Retribution boss and grants a random protective effect after you take damage. If you prefer to deal the damage rather than defend against it, you might find the Vandaloran's Resonance Light set to your liking. Wearing a full set of this gear causes your heavy attacks to charge both yourself and your target with potent energies, which explode as damage to your foes shortly thereafter. A deadly plan comes to light in Exiled Redoubt, one of the 2 PvE challenges coming as part of the Fallen Banner's Dungeon Pack. Let us know how you and your party are planning to thwart the schemes of Cato Albus on socials. Flaming Steed.
With lots of heals.
I'm sorry, the only thing I could think of when I read Flaming Steed was Donkey from Shrek. I just picture Donkey on fire running around a dungeon.
Wow.
It's because of dragon.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That is a pretty gnarly image there, though. If that's going to be the entire fight, is them riding around on a horse.
Lucilla, she was the one that we helped in the Battle Spire.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be nice seeing her again. I was looking forward to that. I'm glad that they're including her again. I really like her.
Yeah.
Have we seen Iron Atronach spiders before?
Spiders? No.
I don't think so.
Iron Atronach spiders. That's a new one.
It's kind of what I was thinking.
Well, maybe. Maybe it's a new one.
Yeah, hold on.
It's one of those. It sounds new, but at the same time...
I mean, you did have all of those, like, volcanic vents that had all of the, flamey things. So...
I thought there were some for in the Doom Vaults. Maybe there's not. No, maybe not. It just says Fallen Banners preview when you UASP it.
Well, alright.
Yeah.
Maybe these are new.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Either way.
I'm not even finding a non-combat pet version, so yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have that as a new enemy type. Sounds like they'll just possibly charge at you and explode. Which, for anybody afraid of spiders, that only makes it that much worse.
They've already survived Spindle Clutch and still play the game. They're fine.
And so, is this also the first time we've had an encounter with a mounted enemy?
I'm gonna go with
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because it was a big deal when we had mounted guards in High Isle, so this is probably the next step up from that.
Wonder if the next step is going to be we get mounted combat.
Don't say it. Don't say. Oh, you said it.
I
just keep picturing Gina's face in Germany a couple years ago, and I'm like, please. I'm still just, I feel the disappointment again and again every time.
Oh. Oh no.
Maybe the
Because I got my
disappointment was
spider, I just need you to sit on back with your bow. We got this.
maybe the disappointment was not being able to say anything yet.
Oh no, I was told it was a no. Like there's no's that are no's, and then there's no's that are no.
I guess so.
Just got to read the nuance in the tone there, I guess.
Guess
Well-
that must be what it is.
Anyway, that's interesting. It's kind of cool that they're adding a couple new things there with the types of enemies that you're going to be fighting. Although I guess they're not necessarily entirely new. I'm sure they're going to be similar to regular spiders in terms of like some of their animations, but just what they actually do. Like I said, it sounds kind of like they're going to be commanded to just run at you and blow up, which could make for some interesting.
It's kind of like that scribing
Wait,
skill.
no, isn't that just like that one move that we have in the Undaunted skill line? Is it Undaunted or Fighter's Guild?
I know that there's a scribe skill where you can make your mount run at your enemy.
Yes.
No, it's Undaunted. There's spiders that explode.
I don't recall that.
Is it the spiders or the webs that explode? I think I may know what you're talking about.
It might be the webs.
I think they can be used to, like, or at least one of the morphs can lay webs down that apply snares or something, perhaps. I haven't used that in a very long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever used that one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the spiders attack. The webs explode. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the different morphs. Yeah.
I don't know that anybody ever uses those, to be honest.
I've used them.
I mean, I have used it, but
Like it's a useful PvP move because it's a stun that deals poison damage. Like that's great.
yeah, it gives you some ideas for, I guess, some themed builds playing around with spiders and such. But
It's a stun that does poison damage. Like why wouldn't you use that in PvP? Knock out werewolves.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Anyway.
not saying there's no application. I just don't know that I've ever actually come across anybody using it. Not that I spend a lot of time in PvP. It may be used more there. I don't know. But yeah, there's.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't look at build videos. I just look at the skill and go, I could use that.
Yeah, there's some cool sounding abilities in some of those skill lines that I think go underutilized because they just aren't as effective as other options. Kind of like the Blood Altar. I think the Blood Altar thing's kind of interesting, but it's kind of, I guess, bettered by other options pretty regularly. So anyway, that's not the point. But yeah, that sounds cool. The sets that the heavy attacks charge you and your enemy with energies that explode. That sounds kind of cool. I don't know about the set that gives you random. What did it say? Random protective effects. I don't necessarily love randomized effects like that, but guess we'll have to wait.
You don't like RNG?
I don't like RNG on things like that. No, it gives you less control over what you actually want when you want it. It's like, cool, you gave me fire protection, and I'm fighting an ice enemy. You know, it's not hitting me with fire at all. It didn't do me any good. But I guess we'll have to see. It doesn't say specifically what it's going to do, so it could just be more overall minor protection, that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, cool stuff. Casualties of war. So, y'all have anything else on that, or you want to move on? to the lore archive?
I'm good if we go on to the Loremaster's archive.
Lore.
Archives.
Lore.
We already read lore though. We're getting.
We can read more lore.
We're getting more lore. Double the lore.
Double the lore, double the fun. That's the statement of the Great Mint in Double Lore show. I don't know.
Well, technically, the other lore, like the one lore we were talking about, was before we officially started. So
It's true. That was pre-show lore.
Right.
yep, get double lore. Join us for pre-show.
Yep.
Pre-lore.
Yeah, I commented that if you were here early, you get bonus lore. So who wants to read this? My finger's on my nose.
Well, there's two parts to it. So one person normally reads the question, one person normally reads the response.
Okay.
Gwen and I can read it, unless Gwen has to go. But
No, Gwen doesn't have to go yet. If for some
Great.
reason I go silent, then Nick can take over.
great. Do you want to
alright.
read Shauna, or do you want to read the questions?
You choose. I'll let you choose.
I
have an idea.
read...
How about, since there's a slim chance, but there's always the possibility that Gwen has to leave, for consistency's sake, you do Chana, and Gwen, you read the questions, and then if I have to take over, it'll feel a little less weird, me suddenly being Chana.
Oh my gosh, Kat, why are you so practical?
Okay.
It's just the way my brain works. I'm sorry.
Hey, technically, that makes Gwen Amelin, yes, like the other mage, right? Because it's Gabrielle Bennell and the other mage. Anyway, okay, yeah, sure.
Alrighty. Sister Chana has donated her time to answer the ESO community's questions about the enigmatic Elder Scrolls and the Moth priests who guard them. No blindfolds required. Editor's note: Emmeline here again. Gabrielle is still away on important business, so it falls to me to continue our Gwilm University series. Our correspondent today, Sister Chana, is a woman of few words. So few, in fact, that she mostly sent along texts from the long history of the cult's past to answer your questions. Sister Chana Nirin is a member of the cult of the Ancestor Moth, a revered and venerated tradition that has existed for as long as Cyrodiilic folk have lived around Nebene Bay. The Moth priests have a unique relationship with their insect charges and the mysterious Elder Scrolls, one which clearly fascinated our quest askers as much as it does me. Sister Chana came to my attention after some recent unpleasantness off the southern coast of Hammerfell. She's in good health now, thanks to the timely intervention of the Undaunted, and seemed like a person perfectly suited to speak on the nature of the Order, prognostication, and, of course, the Elder Scrolls themselves. I hope you find her answers and these texts as illuminating as I did. How did the Aliads deal with the Elder Scrolls? Did they study them like you Moth priests do? And if they did study them, did any of their methods, rituals, or beliefs around the Elder Scrolls live on in the modern cult of the Ancestor Moth? Arancello Sankrever, formerly the Illumination Academy.
We are the Order of the Ancestor Moth, please and thank you. I was taught there is no one right answer to the question of where my order learned its trade. One old monk swore the art was taught to us by Akatosh, and my tutor was convinced the first priest stole the moths as small larvae from Hircine's hunting ground. I asked around for a text to describe one of these many origins, and this is what I found. Take it with a pinch of salt, but it is one way to look at our past. Sorrow, death, and song. Chains defined us. Some wore them around their wrists, holding our strength in check and bent to task. For some, the chains wound round the mind, grim knowledge of what would happen to friends, husbands, mothers, if they acted out of step, but always surrounding us, binding us, constraining us. We looked up from our chains to the tower that stood proud, defiant above us all, built by us, bricks fit by us, not for us, for our masters atop their stone. Within the tower they had secrets beyond counting, most beyond us, most withheld from us, but in some few small chambers we came to be the masters of a world without light. These rooms were all the same. They were dark as a moonlit night, gems glittering in the mosaics along the walls, heated from below, rich with the sound of water, and centered by a tree. Filling the chamber were moths. In the air, on every surface, whorls and clouds of insects. Each one bore 3 eyes along its wing, and in the quiet you could hear them singing quietly to one another. Our masters gathered the great scrolls, grew the twisted trees, tended the moths with eyes upon their wings, and so learned great secrets, learned how to master the world. Where they learned these things we were never told. Perhaps the moths themselves whispered aloud the ways when the world was still young. At first we were permitted only the basest of tasks in these sacred places, to feed the moths, to clear the litter. But we could hear the songs, and from the songs we learned to tease the silk from the larva, and such beautiful things we did spin. As time wore on, our masters began to see value in our understanding. The moths liked us more than our masters, and the scrolls, the moths, the trees, they demanded so much. Why should they bear that burden when we could instead? The moth tenders were taught the secrets of their charges, to center themselves amidst the song, to channel it as the masters did, so that the scrolls could be interpreted. Though it cost sight and sanity, the secrets entrusted to us were beyond counting. And quietly, ever so carefully, did we make our secrets known. Clippings from the tree, larvae from the moths, fragments of the scrolls, all this and more we did spirit away from these chambers. In dark hollows across the land, we began to tend our own glades. When the chains were broken and the Lady of Heaven rose up against the masters, many of the chambers in that defiant tower burned. Many trees were lost, many moths, even some scrolls. Without us, without the tenders, the songs and secrets of the moths may have been lost forever. Remember this, then, that you are the latest link in a line that stretches back to time out of memory, a line made of sorrow, death, and song.
Sister, how did it happen that the White Gold Tower became the largest known repository of Elder Scrolls in Tamriel? I cannot recall a single story explaining how the Wild Elves of the Heartland managed to acquire such a significant number of these truly important relics. Fenari.
I don't know. I asked some others of my order, and they said a lot of words, but I'm not sure they know either. See what you make of this. The pilot's purchase. 3rd ship, manned by Pilot Topol, came to the village along the river, where it met the sea and the stars. Stores were low, as was morale, especially so when 2-legged reptiles came forth from the village, fleet afoot, with weapons ready and hideous speech in their mouths. But Topol did not falter, and by, some words were exchanged, though, not full understanding, and the clever pilot did exchange valuables for supplies. Among these was a bauble. The 2-legged reptiles did not need and did not give away a scroll of vellum with strange inscriptions, which the ship's enchanter said was of great value, though the crew knew not why. When it was added to the stores, the crew asked, "Why are there so many of these scrolls in the ship's hold? What is their purpose?" The enchanter would not answer and only said, to bring aboard all they could find, which they did.
Editor's note: for my fellow scholars, yes, this could in fact be an unknown fragment of the Udharada Nibenu. I have sent several letters to this sister and her order seeking clarity on this matter, but have yet to hear back. I know that across Tamriel are ancestor glades, forest sanctuaries where Kentil trees grow and attract ancestor moths, allowing people like moth priests to read the Elder Scrolls. Could you tell us more about them? Can cactile trees grow anywhere, even in the Alakir Desert or Vardenfell? Or does someone plant them and they naturally attract the moths? Gasper Mantu, Explorer at Large.
Canticle trees are fickle things. The conditions they need to take root vary from place to place, but I've heard tales of trees growing in everything from loose sand to ice-cold earth. The elders of our order claim that once a tree has had its first bloom, it's almost impossible to kill. Trees without tenders, moths, sunlight, or water just go dormant, hiding away inside themselves. They shed their petals and appear dead, but they're not. My tutor, a wise old Khajiit called Jyotir the Whitetail, swore up and down that he'd seen a tree withered down to nothing more than a stump, hidden under a fallen building, and denied light and water for centuries, and fully restored to life with careful tending. It might be exaggeration. The old man likes to spin stories for the younger scribes, but make of it what you will.
Do moth priests ever keep pet moths? Are moths ever used for other purposes besides their connection to the Elder Scrolls? Bar Texaxo.
Ancestor moths are a connection to the Aedra through the experiences of every mortal that has ever lived. So no, they are not pets. Moths are never used for another purpose. I'm confused by your question.
Editor's note. In my inquiries, I was able to follow up with the sister about this question, and she did allow how some eclipses of moths were friendlier than others at the various monasteries and glades she has been to. What constitutes a friendly versus an unfriendly swarm of moths is not something she elaborated on. Most people agree that what's on an Elder Scroll is inevitable, but also changeable. Some people claim to have created prophecies whole cloth that have subsequently been recorded in the scrolls, but it's also said that a scroll cannot be altered by man or divine. Can someone create a prophecy and have it accounted in a scroll or scrolls, or do the scrolls themselves determine what a prophecy was created and the creator is merely a pawn in the bigger picture with a degree of self-delusion? V. Haracle.
Jotir taught me that the prophecy and the scroll are one and the same. The scrolls, the prophecies, they're not created. They're here now, as they've always been, as they'll always be. I think you're trying to pull apart things that are knotted together. I've seen incredible things in my time with the Order, but only a fraction of them have come to pass. Old Whitetail always said that the scrolls interpret the world, but it's the actions of the people that change it.
Many of the Elder Scrolls have names such as Atladun, Gartok, Nemok, Runen, and so on. I must wonder, how are these names known, and who gives them to the Elder Scrolls? Sir Syandor Fargothil of Sadanin.
I've been taught that the tradition of scroll naming dates back to the time of the Heartland Elves, but if anything that was said about the Aliads was true, the world would be a far, far stranger place than it really is. Here and now, my order is careful to meticulously research scrolls added to our stores to ensure they've never been seen or named by a member of our group. The scrolls don't care what we call them, of course, and some scrolls no doubt had different names in the past, but it prevents confusion to avoid having one scroll named multiple things, if we can help it. The naming of the scrolls. To name a thing is to know a thing, but not all things that are named are known, as the last prophet to speak the words knew, and said and taught us, which is why we choose the names we do, and while we can name them anything at all, it helps to name them for what they want to be, which is why we choose the names we do, like weapon or shield or river or in-between or mother or forgiven, and no two names are ever the same if the scroll is the same, which is why to name a thing is to know a thing, but not all things that are named are known.
Your order pays a heavy toll in the pursuit of prophetic understanding. Is blindness inevitable for all who read the Elder Scrolls, or is this a limitation of our mortal eyes? Legolas Tigerdiadon of the United Explorers of Scullery Pursuits.
Blindness is the price of greed, Jotir told me when I first joined the Order. It's not inevitable, no. There are monks who have been with the Order for decades and still retain their sight. If you're careful to listen to the Song of the Moths, if you wait long months before you read the scrolls, if you're patient, you can see. But there's so much we don't know, so much to learn from the scrolls. And as the seniors of our order remind us every day, when compared to the scale of history, we're only here for the blink of an eye. If you could decipher a prophecy that might save the lives of every person, would you restrain yourself? I couldn't.
Some of the princes of Oblivion claim the knowledge of fate and prophecy among their domains, yet I've only ever heard of the Daedra wanting to claim an Elder Scroll as a trophy or a museum piece, never to study it. It seems to be only us mere mortals that actually read the Elder Scrolls. Why is that? Zulavi Melvian, Guild Alchemist, Mages Guild, North Point Chapter.
The Moths will not speak to a Daedra. It makes sense if you think about it. Why would the endless Aedric coil of mortal souls want to speak to outsiders? Hermaeamora and the Moth. every day the moth would alight atop the canticle tree to drink the dew and welcome in the day. For 3 years she did this without worry or bother, meeting the sun as it rose in the sky and reveling in all that was well in the world. Then one day as she settled to rest in the tallest boughs of her tree, she saw she was not alone. An unblinking hourglass eye peered back at her from the place where the sun should be. The moth had been taught to be polite by her dam and sire, and so she greeted the great eye, saying, "Fivefold venerations to you this day, O Prince of Fate. Why have you come to the top of my tree?" And the great eye stirred himself then, harumphing and wheezing and saying, "I have come to ask you to sing me your secret songs and teach me the ways of your eclipse, for the words that you sing are of great value to one such as I." And the moth, who had been told by her dam and sire never to teach another secret songs or the ways of her eclipse, slowly beat her wings and thought before saying, "There are 8 different ways to learn the secret songs, O Prince of Fate. But do you truly come to learn the words that we sing? Or have you come to learn the words so that you may learn the furens of the souls that we shepherd?" The great eye harumphed and strained, and the world grew dark around the moth, so great was his anger, and his words took long moments to come. "You are very brave, little moth, but you are right. I wish to learn the words you sing so that I may learn the furens of the souls you shepherd. For though I can see many threads of fate that weave this world and all worlds together, I cannot see what you see upon the scrolls." The moth gathered herself, and then let go a deep breath and held herself very still because she feared this would be the last thing she ever did, and she did not want to get it wrong. And then she spoke and said, 16 times you have my apologies then, O Prince of Fate, for my sire and dam forbade me teach one such as you the secret songs or the ways of my eclipse. But if you will forgive me and let me go on my way, you will do me and my dam and sire and the whole of my eclipse a great honor. And in your honor we will wear your eyes upon our wings for all time to show the world that though the Prince of Fate does not know the words we sing or the furens of the souls we shepherd, he is a wise and kind and mighty lord that need not strike down one as small as I over a slight as small as this." And then the great eye harumphed and strained, and the world grew even darker, and in the darkest the moth saw tendrils and eyes and things moving in the dark that was not night, and she grew afraid, but she did not show it, and she held herself very still, because if this was the last thing she did not want to get it wrong. And by the darkness fell away, and the tendrils receded, and she found herself looking again into the bright and light of the sun, and from a great distance she heard the voice of the great eye. "You have done very well, little moth, and your dam and sire have taught you well. I accept your bargain and meet it well. If you and your dam and sire and the whole of your eclipse will wear my eyes upon your wings for all of time, consider this a contract given and a contract signed." And the moth breathed a deep sigh of relief, and she fluttered her wings to return her sire and dam and the whole of her eclipse, for she had given her word. And every moth that perches atop a canticle tree to drink the dew and welcome in the day has kept that contract for every day since.
Not many people bother to care about the goblin-kin races, such as goblins, ogres, and those delightful little squeakers with tiny arms. Common sentiment is that they are obstacles to slay and not get to know. Do goblin-kin have any place in those Elder Scrolls of yours? Do any of them speak of their past or their future? Goblin Tim.
Yes, I've read scrolls that referenced goblins, birdfolk, fauns, Imga, even Slode. The cultures of Man and Mer tend to dominate the Elder Scrolls today, but I have been told by seniors that was not always true. What the scrolls I've read say about the goblinkin has not been kind, Tim. Yours is a people from a different age. Don't look to prophecy to save you.
Editor's note. And that's that. Sister Chana included no further notes or texts, merely request for payment. Pragmatic to a fault, our former priestess. I expect you'll have your regularly scheduled lore mistress back at the helm for the next entry in this series, so I hope you've enjoyed our time together. See you in solitude.
That's a good one. That's some juicy lore.
That was a lot of lore.
Man, that Hermaeus Mora one was really good.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like Sorrow, Death, and Song, too. That was a good one. Those are good readings.
Sorrow,
Nice.
Death, and Song. Or what's that one?
That was the first one that was read about, like, the slave rebellion, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Man, that was a lot.
So where didn't the dwemer go?
I have no idea. I told you I was away on business.
Oh yeah. There wasn't a search this week. My bad. There wasn't a search.
So they weren't on my business trip. But what about murdering hobos?
Murdering hobos.
I still haven't made the decision. Why would we murder hobos?
I don't know why I just came up with a jingle for that, but
Sounds like a episode of Criminal Minds.
Just makes me think of that movie that will not be mentioned because it's a horrible movie and no one should watch it. So moving on. Do you think your character would? No, we're gonna. Yeah, we'll stick with the theme. All right. So PvP, Cyrodiil, Elder Scrolls.
Yes.
Would you be a scroll runner? And do you think you would be good at it?
I have.
And were you good at it?
I think I did all right because I'm
You're a
stand-based.
Bosmer.
I'm stand-based Bosmer, so yeah, I was pretty speedy.
Yep.
I like running scrolls. It can be a challenge if you're avoiding Zergs, but I think it's fun.
That's the question this week. Would you run Elder Scroll? Would you be a scroll runner in Cyrodiil?
Never. Oh my gosh, I forgot about what we did last week after the show. Hold on, go ahead. Answer the question, then I have to talk about my horrible fail with Volendrung.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think I mean, I like running in battlegrounds the like the relics and stuff. So
Chaos Ball.
yeah, I'm not. I don't know that I'd say I'm necessarily great at it, but occasionally I'll put together like a super speedy build or something, and I can usually hold my own. I think as far as just being fast. So yeah, I would do it. I'd run scrolls. I'm a kitty cat.
What about you, Gwen?
Oh yeah, no, I just like running around for fun anyway. Of course I'd run a scroll.
Heck yeah. Okay, so really quick side tangent. Last week, Never and I went into PvP for like a hot second to do some stuff after the show. And I looked at the map that we were in, and it was showing that Volendrung was just chilling outside of our gate. So I thought, I'll go take a look and see what's happening there. So I went out to get Volendrung, and sure enough, there's another AD player just chilling on his mount, standing there with Volendrung there. And I'm like, hello? And I go up and I wave, and they disappear. They logged out or timed out, one of the two. And Volendrung was right in front of me, and I thought, why not? So I picked it up and I took off running, but I had to run to the next closest keep, which was red. And I knew that there were at least 2 reds out there from one of the other fetch quests that I had done earlier, but I was like, I have Volendrung. Surely I can make something happen, and maybe I'll get this achievement tonight of killing someone with this thing. And I got really excited. And I took off running, and I neglected to remember that I was wearing PvE gear and had no PvP skills on as I was running that.
Isn't your bar changed when you have Volendrung, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I still had no PvP gear, which meant that I had no crit resist and no anything on. So I thought, yeah, I'll be fine. So I go running up to this keep, and right as we get towards the front door, I see 2 reds coming, and they come over, and I just start, like, swinging, and I don't know if I was just extraordinarily tired and bad with Volendrung, or whether they were just really, really tanky. Either way, it did not go well for me, and I died. And then they both picked it up and ran off with it. And I was like, well, there we go.
My heart is breaking for you.
I've failed the Dominion.
My heart is breaking
I popped the ultimate, and the one dude, like, full buff healed back to full health, and I was like, no! And I was so upset. And then I watched him as he picked it up and ran away with it. And they already owned most of the map. Like, the whole map was basically red. So I just wanted one keep, that's all. And Never's like, I'm coming! And then he also died.
You should have just killed Never with it. It counts. Friendly fire counts with Volendrug. You should just kill Never with it.
Wow.
No way, you can hurt your own people?
I feel like you should be able to. That thing,
you
it's hungry.
definitely can't. But
are you sure? Because
I'm
like
pretty sure.
it in the tutorial it says it will eat away at you if you don't kill others with it.
Yes, that means that your health bar gets sucked down if you don't. So as soon as you go into combat, or after a certain timer amount, if you do not feed it with bloodthirst, basically, it will kill you. Which is actually, I think,
your friends.
That's exactly what I actually think partially happened. Is once I started I had it for a while by the time we got to those guys, and it went quick. So
yeah,
that was my embarrassing and terrible story about me, and I need to put my PvP build on this character. So there we go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. That was my quick story.
There it is.
So if you have Volendrung, you should be able to kill your friends.
That would be...
saying.
Just imagine, though, how
thing.
much of a crazy, wild time that would be in a keep when you're trying to take down a wall, and it would be not great.
Yes. Yeah, no, that should happen. That should be a thing. That, like, why that isn't a thing doesn't make sense. It's 1, Volendrung. 2, Sheogorath is in charge of this thing. Like, yeah. That should be exactly how that mechanic works.
Interesting. Have you, this is a separate tangent, I suppose. Have you ever played a game that had friendly fire?
Yes, you don't want to play with me when there's friendly fire. I suck at aiming.
There are, that can get real hectic real fast. Yeah, that would be, makes for some good laughs sometimes, though.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I tried to kill that guy. I didn't mean to send you flying across the map there. My bad. Anyway.
Anyway, we got mail.
Mail? Did we get more mail?
Yes.
Follow up mail!
We got email, like, not last week, but the week before, but I opened it, and I forgot to add it to the notes, and yeah, so here we are. Jenovaseph, remember the very long email that we were all answering? Well, he sent us a clarification on some of our things after we were talking about it. So I'll just read it. I guess I should have been more specific when I was talking about looking up specific designers. My thought process was having a list of favorited people that you could get notified if they were to post new house, or you'd be able to just browse all your favorite people's houses. And that makes so much more sense, and I love that concept. That's my response to that.
Okay, I do remember seeing this email now. Yeah, thanks for the clarification. I think being able to favorite designers would be pretty cool.
Ooh, yeah, that would be neat to be able to get notified if they publish stuff, or like, yeah.
Yeah, it could just be like a ping in your notifications like everything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Automated.
That would be pretty cool.
Automated to your mail.
Yeah.
Or that, like it goes into your automated email. That'd be neat. I'd take it.
You get your mail from all of your hirelings, and also one from your real estate agent.
Oh no! Oh my.
There's new houses for you to go scope out.
Tamrielic home companion.
Yeah.
Look at your daily dose of these lovely houses in this week's issue.
Oh boy.
The Elder Scrolls equivalent to Zillow.
Zillow. The Snugpod's value was based upon the
It's versatility.
versatility as well as.
Yeah,
That would be wild.
The Snugpod is too small. You can't do anything with it. See Gwen.
Gwen said, "Hold my beer. Hold my
No.
rot meth.
There
Hold
you
my
go.
rot meth."
Good girl. You got this. Okay. I was like, wait a second. Hold my rot meth. At the very
Exactly.
least.
Ugh. Yuck. Rot meth.
Yum. What's worse, rot meth or Jaga?
I'll stick to my moon sugar,
Okay.
which is gone now.
Who's gonna lose their teeth first?
I don't know. Rot meth probably can't be too good for him.
Oh boy. Who knows?
Well, I guess we can hit up the announcements and
Yes.
yeah. So, if you are a lore seeker, specifically on PlayStation, and you didn't just get booted,
What the heck? I literally just moved a second ago. Oh my gosh. I never get booted. I've been booted 3 times tonight. Ugh.
Has it been 3 times? Really? I must have missed the other one.
I'm gonna stretch
just kidding,
to make
twice.
sure I don't get booted here. So we're just gonna just stretch quick. There we go. All right.
So,
Oy vey.
pro tip for anybody that decides they want to podcast the way that we do and to avoid getting
Sorry,
booted.
everyone.
What I've started doing that seems to work pretty well is since I'm in
Open the.
since I'm in screenshot mode anyway, I just tap circle periodically,
That's-
and it's worked for me.
Oh,
So
I just moved the right joystick.
well, yeah, I've done that too, but I've had that not prevent me getting booted. Like I'd
That's
get
what's
booted.
happened
Yeah.
to me. I've moved my right joystick tonight. Like I try and do it every 2 or 3 minutes, and it obviously hasn't worked.
I'm not sure if that always registers as an input the same way. I don't know. And it might be that they put in some kind of thing to prevent you from like rubber banding your controller so that you don't get booted offline. So anyway, just the tap of the circle button seems to work for me. But anyway, if you are a lore seeker on PlayStation specifically, we have a couple of things that we do each week. If you're interested in taking part, if you're not a lore seeker, we'll tell you about how to do that at the end. But first off, if you are listening to this now or before tomorrow or before a Monday, we do Mondays with Moki, which is a nice little laid-back event for just anybody that wants to tag along. It's fishing, Cyrodiil, all kinds of random little things. Moki's helped several people get their fishing achievements done, and I think sky shards and Cyrodiil here and there. Is that right?
Fishing for fish, fishing for sky shards, fishing for killing people.
Yeah.
You can fish for a lot of things. However, fishing is not this week.
Not
It
this
is
week.
canceled for this week.
Okay.
Moki will be busy and not hosting this week.
Okay.
Yes.
But that is a regular event.
Yes.
So
It will resume on the 17th.
yeah. So if you want to come hang out with Moki and friends, then come do that. That is 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
Correct.
Yeah. Next thing up, we don't have a specific time for this. It's currently just a create your own group and go do thing.
Well, it is treacherous to set a time for this.
Yeah. So treacherous.
Too treacherous.
It's Tuesday, treacherous. Treacherous Tuesday is our dungeon day. So we just encourage you take take some time and group up with guildies and go run dungeons in whichever fashion you so choose to do that. By that I mean if you want to do slow runs and do the story for your first time, or if you want to speed run and get achievements or farm for gear, find some people to group up with and go do that. And the last thing on the list, I feel like we never talk about this one. Like it just kind of always gets left out and nobody even knows it exists.
Well, it's kind of daunting.
Yeah, I think it's about time that we fix that.
Yeah.
We on Fridays we have Fearless Fridays with Arthuria Dragoon, and if you're not sure what that event is, it's because we've done a bad job of promoting it, and we want to do better. So we're going to do that. We're going to tell you about that now. Fearless Friday is our Undaunted event.
Undaunted.
Undaunted.
We are undaunted.
We are undaunted.
We're undaunted.
No, you're undaunted.
Your face is
Meow, meow,
undaunted.
meow.
Yeah, it is. Rawr.
Meow. Meow. Anyway.
Come on, let's go to the dungeon.
Go chase the laser.
Oh, man.
Yes. So that is Fridays at 8 o'clock, 7 Central.
Yes.
Is that right? Because that's still the old time. Yeah.
Basically, when the furnishing vendor, when you want to look at the new luxury furnishings, you look at the new luxury furnishings and then you hop into group. Or hop into group and we all look at the furnishings and then you pop into the dungeon. That's generally how that works.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you are a lore seeker on PlayStation, that is what we've got going on. We are all PlayStation lore seekers, and I am the only one of the three not on PC as well.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of like furnishings and stuff, did you guys see the luxury furnishings this week?
Yes.
Do you know how
Flowers.
much restraint it took not to buy a ton of those like black leafy flowers for my my Dark Brotherhood chapel build? Because like that, I use so much self-control. I am really proud of me.
No, the ones that I want are the flowers that are the glowy vine flowers, and I forgot about them, and I'm gonna go buy them.
Oh yeah, my brain right now is going, I see a red door and I have to paint it black. Everything must be black. No more. Yeah, all black. Everything's black.
Sorry, everyone. We're taking a trip out of the Snugpod.
Did you just decide to go buy flowers?
Yeah.
You're welcome for that reminder.
Before it flips. Whee!
So anyway, if you would like to be notified whenever we go live, you could, or if you are listening to this and you'd like to listen to us when we're live, then I got that mixed up and I forgot. Never help me out here.
Oh, I love what just happened. We were all the same way.
So, if you are one of the lore seekers, or not one of the lore seekers, and you're interested in any of our events, you can head over to loreseekers.club and follow all the links there. Make sure you've got Discord downloaded, and all the information on how to join Lore Seekers is right there. And I think what Gwen was trying to say is if you are, if you want to catch us live, if you're not in here currently, you can do that on Sundays, usually around 10 Central, give or take about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what kids are doing and such, such as life sometimes. But you can do that on both Twitch and YouTube. If you want to catch us on Twitch, that's twitch.tv/snugpodcast, or you can just search Snugpodcast on YouTube, and you can find us on both of those, and you can catch back episodes on YouTube as well. But if you don't care to consume something like this in a video format, we have other options. Someone like to share that?
Sure. I was buying plants, so I missed most of what we've done for social media, but I'm guessing you were talking about finding us on your podcatcher of choice.
There you go.
Yeah. Basically, we're on Spotify and Apple and anywhere else you can find a podcast.
And do you see what I did there? See, you were buying plants, and I let you tell about the pod cast. You know, and we're in a Snugpod, which is a big magical blossomed plant, basically. So
When I can purchase things with gold again, I'm gonna buy like that Snugpod seedling thing and turn it into like a microphone stand.
Yes.
And sorry about that obnoxious sound you probably just got. I accidentally kicked the table. My mic is on.
How could you?
Simple. I swung my foot and it hit the table.
That's fair. Fair.
Yeah. So, Gwen, if anybody wants to reach out to us, where can they find us?
We are on X at snugpodcast, or you can email us at snugpodcast@gmail.com. Or you could also send us or you could reply to, you can leave us a review.
Comment on this thing on Spotify.
Yeah, or you could comment on YouTube, or you could send something to our Twitch inbox. You have options. However, we're most likely to see the email, snugpodcast@gmail.com. That's your, if you really want us to read it, that's where you should send it.
Yeah, emails allow you a little bit more flexibility to, really say more as opposed to being limited to characters and such. So if you've got like several things you want to throw in there, email is probably the best format. And you don't have to wait much longer before I'll actually be able to read those. So just a few more months. I'm getting close.
Kitty's getting gray around the snout.
I got a few. Yeah. All right. Well, do you ladies have anything else to add? You can't take it away because it's already recorded.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Awesome sauce. Well, if you've been here with us, we appreciate you hanging out with us. I know Sprout's been in chat a little bit, and but we appreciate anybody that takes time to listen or to watch. Just appreciate being able to be part of your day. Hopefully, it was a good part. I know we're a little discombobulated at times, but I think that's part of our charm. So thank you again for hanging out with us, and we will try to do this again next week. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of others, and be a decent person. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Sleep well, Tamriel.